May not recognize me out here. Hey, 3 times a year I wear a tie. What am I going to say? Those of you joining us via our Facebook live stream, we're glad you're here as well, joining us, the body of Christ. Our reading this morning was from Matthew chapter 28, verses 1 through 10. In the grand scheme of things, I have to think there's an easier way to announce that the tomb is empty than using 2 people with the same name. I mean, seriously, aren't there enough people around in the ancient world that have different names, that 2 people with different names could have showed up to notice the tomb was empty? It makes me think of the 80s sitcom Newhart. Larry, his brother Daryl, his other brother Daryl. Yeah, I have no idea what was going on here. I'm thinking God could have found another pair of folks to do this, but we've got Mary and the other Mary. Whatever their names, these women had come to take care of the crucified Christ. It was time to prepare him for final burial. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary had come to do what needed to be done. Have you come face to face with death yet? It takes a lot of courage to come face to face with death. It takes a lot of courage to face down death, to engage death, to be in the presence of death. And that is exactly what Mary Magdalene and the other Mary have come to do. They were emotionally, physically, and spiritually ready to come face to face with the death of Jesus again. They were there on Friday when Jesus was crucified. They were there when he breathed his last. They were there when he died. They were there when he was placed in the tomb. They watched death. They had engaged death. And here they were again, ready to look death squarely in the eye and do what had to be done. Again. Not being Mary and the other Mary, I can't say what was going through their minds. Perhaps they were running through the checklist of items that needed to be taken care of. Perhaps they were wondering what would become of all of them when all was said and done. Certainly, like any of us in their position, it would have been an emotional time. And likely their hearts were breaking at the prospect of seeing Jesus dead again. Whatever it was that Mary and the other Mary were thinking, they likely didn't include an earthquake, the stone rolling away, and an angel whose appearance was like lightning. But that's what they got. I don't know about you, but the whole idea of an earthquake, of the stone rolling away, and an angel whose appearance is like lightning is a little bit frightening to me. I've never been in an earthquake that was worthy of being called that. But I have several friends, close friends that live in the Bay Area, and I've seen it on TV. And the whole thing seems kind of terrifying, if you ask me. I can only imagine what it would have been like for Mary and the other Mary. The stone rolling away must have been pretty fantastic, too. I envision this big, heavy thing rolling away from a tomb entrance with no visible means of support. Diesel engines and hydraulic operating arms hadn't been operated yet. So this would have been kind of an incredible thing to witness. I can kind of hear what it sounds like, though. Many years ago, I worked at Good Samaritan Hospital in Kearney. And if any of you have been out in Kearney, you know Good Samaritan is always under construction. Well, they had moved the doctor's parking lot over to a new parking area and told the doctors not to park in the old area. Some of them didn't care, and they continued to park in the old area. Now, somebody higher up the food chain decided that putting big concrete planters in that parking area would be a good idea to keep them from parking there. Newsflash, it did not. Spoiler alert there. One of the doctors came with his old hunting truck, the kind with a big grill on the front. And he pushed those big concrete planters across the concrete pavement off to the side so that he could park where he wanted to park. That's kind of what I envision this stone sounding like as it rolls away. Concrete planters sliding across the concrete parking lot. Now, lightning, I have close-up and personal experience with that. Some years ago, while we were still in Omaha, my wife Laura and I and my brother Craig were sitting out on the screen porch watching the thunderstorm, like you do, right? And that was kind of fun, entertaining, right up until the moment when lightning hit the elm tree in our backyard, 15 feet away from where we were sitting. That gets your attention. You don't forget that anytime soon. That's pure sound and fury all wrapped into one instant. Now, what are Mary and the other Mary thinking? Checklists to grief, to ground quaking, the sound of concrete planters scraping across the concrete parking lot, the sound and fury of lightning in one instant. What are they thinking? I know what the guards are thinking. Nothing. For fear of him, the guards shook and became like dead men. They were thinking not one thing. Mary and the other Mary, whatever they were thinking, were still there. And they heard the words of assurance that came from the angel. Not to be afraid, and that Jesus was not there but had been raised from the dead. He told them to go quickly and tell his disciples, he has been raised from the dead, and indeed he is going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him again. That's the promise right there. That's the hope right there. The angel says he has been raised from the dead. There you will see him. Death has no victory over Christ, and in his resurrection, death has no victory over us. No matter what happens in our life or death, we will see Christ again. Through Christ's death and resurrection, we are freed from the hold that death has over us, and we are sent into the world to bring Christ's love to life. Through Christ's death and resurrection, we are freed from the hold that death has over us, and we are freed to live again. To God be the glory. Amen. Would you please stand as you are comfortable and able to continue worshiping?